Hello and welcome to the news bulletin on Goa 365 with me, Marsha D'Souza. The first meet of the newly constituted Goa Building and Other Construction Workers Welfare Board was held this morning at the Secretariat in Povaram to implement the Goa Building and Other Construction Workers Regulation of Employment and Conditions of Service Act. The Goa Building and Other Construction Workers Act envisages the regulation of the hitherto unregulated workforce in the building construction industry.
The Minister of Labour and Employment, Goacom, is the chairman of the board, while Anuradha Dukar is the vice chairman and B.B.N. Riker, Commissioner for Labour and Employment, is the member secretary. In addition, the board includes 13 members from state government departments, employers' representatives, building workers' representatives, and a nominee of the central government. The board will soon be functional from its independent office at the Shrama Shakti Bhavan in Pator, Panjim.
Talking about very few days will is functioning of this board. Since that the Labour Department building, we will look, I told my commissioner bring notice to me which other offices are using there. So they will request them we have to have a building there, and we request them to empty the offices and we'll open an office there. Because basically we want the office should be in Labour Department, where all the staff available there. There what our request will be there to shift somebody and put our office there.
Speaking to Goa 365, a member of the board and president of the All India Trade Union Congress, Christopher Fonseca, gave us details about the Goa Building and Other Construction Workers Act.
The provisions of this act are that there will be a number of welfare schemes meant for building and construction workers, and for that the government is going to put some money. The money will be collected from the employers, construction builders, who are promoting various constructions, and the workers also will have to contribute a certain amount, and all this will be pulled into a kind of a cess. The board will be overall in charge of that, and from the monies collected, the workers' welfare measures will be taken.
Mr. Fonseca also informed us about his recommendations to ensure the implementation of the Act in letter and spirit.
I think there are many workers who are laid off during the off-season when there is no building activity. People are retrenched, thrown out of jobs. There are times when people suffer injuries. There are times when people suffer death. They are all covered under the Workmen's Compensation Act. But has the cess on construction workers anything to do with it? It does. Then there are times when workers have various kind of urgencies, marriages, loan, so many problems which they undergo. So construction workers need to be covered, their benefits have to be looked into, and this is a piece of legislation from the point of view of safety, health, accommodation, working conditions, so many things are in it. So all these will have to be looked after, and the board will have a superintending kind of a overview on this particular, all the service conditions of the construction.
The Vice Chancellor of Goa University, Dr. Dilip Deobakar, today declared the recently held elections to the Goa University Students' Council as null and void.
The condition, it looks that there is a procedural flaw. Okay, and that flaw was pointed out in more than one way. Number one, that apparently the initial announcement of your the representative list, which was supposed to come on 15th by evening, apparently was put on 16th. So technically that can be considered as a flaw. Further, they also pointed out that in their justification there is a confusion about two things: that there were some students outside, and there the place was small, and first one did not go out in time. By the time they came, the 5 o'clock, one of the applications saying 5 o'clock at the time was put in, and others were not. These people also know the rules, and they said by logic, anybody who comes to put nomination in, that is also for our election voting, the time of finishing or end point of the time, whoever is there in the queue or there are taken in, and you finish that procedure. Basically, therefore, they found the procedure has flawed. And because of the procedure is flawed this way, this should be considered, this election you should try to null and void and restart the process.
Dr. Deobakar also said that further action in the matter would depend on the decision taken by the Executive Council of the Goa University that was scheduled to meet this evening.
The entire procedure which has been challenged and which has been found and reported to be flawed is being put up to EC to make a decision, because now that decision doesn't get branded by an individual, It is a decision by authority body of the university, which is a statutorily important body, and that's the final body.
Earlier this morning, the student cell of the Congress held a protest at the university campus, demanding the suspension of the returning officer Balkrishna Khanolkar for the alleged irregularities in the conduct of the elections. Meanwhile, on Saturday, the student cell of the BJP had demanded that the newly elected council be allowed to take charge, as they felt that the elections were held in a fair manner. It may be recalled that the elections to the University Students' Council was held on the 25th of September, the results of which were disputed by the student cell of the Congress party, which labelled the elections as having been rigged after the elections went in favour of the BJP-backed Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad panel. Speaking to Goa 365, Mr. Sankalp Amonkar, President of the Goa Youth Congress, said that he was happy with the decision taken by Dr. Deobakar.
ती तशी ना म्हणून सांगला आणि ती एव्हरीवन ना ती आता इट इज एक्चुअली द इलेक्शन इज नल अँड वॉइड आणि तेजे इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स आसा ते इलेक्टेड ना आणि फ्रेश डेट्स फायनलाइज जातली इलेक्शनाची आणि ते आता इलेक्शन तेंची एक्झिक्युटिव्ह कमिटीची मिटींग आसा आता 4 सुमार ते मिटींगेन ते डिसिजन घेतले आणि ते आमकां सांगतले म्हणून सांगलेले आसा तशें ताणें आमी दुसरो एक आमचो डिमांड आसलेलो प्रोफेसर खांडोलकराक सस्पेंड करचो म्हणून तेणें तेवूय आमचे एक्सेप्ट केल्लेले आसा बट एज फार एज VC ताका पर्सनल राइट ना म्हणटा तो ताका सस्पेंड करपाक दॅट विल बी टेकन इन द EC कम्युनिटी एंड ही हॅज एश्युअर्ड अस दॅट खांडोलकर विल बी सस्पेंडेड बाय टुडे इवनिंग म्हणून आनी हे ताणें आमकां एश्युरन्स दिलेले आसा.
Mr. Amonkar also appealed to all political parties to stay away from student politics.
सगळे जितली पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज आसा तेंचे कडेन सगळ्यां कडेन हात जोडून रिक्वेस्ट करता स्पेशली ते परिकरा कडेन जो ऑपोजिशन लिडर आसा तेजे कडेन कितें प्लीज स्टुडंट्साच्या भुरग्यांच्या मदीं स्टुडंट्स पॉलिटिक्सा भितर मदीं इनवॉल्व जावं नाका तांकां फ्री दवर तांकां जाय त्या पार्टीन वचून जाय त्या ग्रुपान तांकां जॉयन जावनी आनी जे आसा तेंचे स्टुडंट कावन्सील आसा स्टुडंट ग्रुप जो आसा तांकां ते इलेक्शन करूनी इतलेंच हांव परत तेजे कडेन एकदां हात जोडून मागता.
The World Tourism Day was celebrated in the state on the 27th of September, and the Tourism Department has chalked out a week-long program to commemorate the same.
The celebrations began with the inauguration of 6 new tourist buses by the Minister of Tourism Mickey Pacheco on Saturday. Shyam Satardekar, chairman of the GTDC, spoke about the reasons for the induction of these new fleet of buses.
ह्यो बसी ज्यो युजली आज टुरिजमाक ज्यो आमी ऑपरेट करताले फक्त टुरिजमाकूच न्ही त्यो युजली ऑलरेडी वी हॅव प्रोसीड टू ऑल डिपार्टमेंट्स स्पेशली फॉर द रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ देर नीड्स तांकां केन्ना जर युजली जर बसीची गरज पडली जाल्यार तांच्यांनी ह्यो बसी वापरूं जातात आनी तांकां जे कसले कामाक गरजेक खंय व्हरपाक जे कितें रिक्वायरमेंट लागतले ते आमी GTDC प्रोवायड करतले विथ द हेल्प ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टुरिजम.
Mr. Satardekar also elaborated on the programs that will be held throughout the state during the week.
So we have decided in all 12 residencies to have a different programs like Rangoli competition, then flower decoration, then we got a football match North Goa, South Goa along with the people who are coming from abroad to make one team and to fight with the local team. So there will be a exhibition match, you can say, North Goa and South Goa also, one in Collingwood, one in Banavalium. The other one is we have made a small but beautiful program for the special children on Santa Monica boat.
The Tourism Minister, Mr. Mickey Pacheco, appealed to the people of the state to preserve the identity of the state.
गोंयांत आमचे टुरिजम म्हणटा तो बॅकबोन आनीक आमकां एक ऑपॉर्च्युनिटी दिल्या म्हणच्यान जाल्यार आयज आमकां गोंयची सेवा करपाक गोंयची आयडेंटिटी राखपाक आयज तर आमच्या गोंया टुरिजमा मातयेर ओर दुसऱ्या जाग्यांनी आमकां तर गोंया आमकां तो राखपाक दिले तेन्ना आमकां राखों जायना जाल्यार आमकां दुसऱ्या जनरेशना येता तेंचे आमकां कस आसतले शिराप आसतले. त्या पासत म्हजी एक मागणी तुमी सगळ्या आमच्या गोंयकारांनी आमकां बरो सहकार दिवचो आनी आदार दिवचो जेन्ना आमी टुरिजम रिलेटीव कसले प्रोजेक्ट हाडटाय कसल्यो सूचना हाडूंक सोदताय तांकां तुमी सांबाळ आमकां तेंक दिवचो.